my name is Lexi Jong, and here I like to talk about luxury makeup. And today we are taking a look at the new SUQQU Summer 2021 collection. And I just got it. I was so excited to receive it. It's actually nighttime while I'm filming. I just had to, kind of dig in right away. So these are first impressions, and I just wanted to make sure I was able to share these swatches and everything with you before the launch. So this collection officially launches May 20th, and it'll be available at Selfridges and other SUQQU retailers like Harrods and Liberty London and so forth. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start with what I ordered. So I actually ordered from the counter, which is why I was able to get it a little bit earlier, because I did a pre-order from the counter. So when you order from the counter, whether you have the global shipping or not that works online, that's separate. So you do have to pay a shipping charge. It's 25 pounds. But the prices do come, the VAT and sales tax are removed when you order from the counter. So, depending on how much your order is, it may not, it may actually be more beneficial to you to purchase directly through the counter. Another reason it's great to order through the counter is samples and things like that. So let me show you what I got. I've actually already unpacked this and put it all back in, but this is a free gift that came with a $150 or 150 pound purchase. So in here, this is just, one of those little things detailing everything, but we have a little cute little pouch here. Okay. And then we also have a bigger version. So here is the big version of the pouch. Okay, so it's like an envelope style, and it says SUQQU on the back in black. So I'm not sure if you can really see that, but you can see it when the light hits it a certain way. And then you have, it's about an ounce for this. So it's like 1.05 ounces of the Enrich Foaming Wash. There is the light solution fluid. This is 1.02 ounces. And then this is the moisture repair essence, and this is 15 milliliters, so half an ounce. And then a ton of samples that are from their newest line, the Violume, which I really, really wanted to try. I've heard so many great things about this. So I got a ton of samples from there. That was all the free gift for spending 150 pounds or more at SUQQU. So this gift was available through the counter, like in store. It's an in-store gift. So if you order online, it's not something that you'll be receiving. In addition, ordering through the counter, I was able to do a Zoom consultation with them. So they were able to swatch things, give me some recommendations and so forth. So I ordered the whole collection essentially, except for two of the lip products, which the gentleman that I worked with, Fernando, he didn't recommend those two shades for me with my coloring. And, I kind of agreed. So I need to start reining in my lip purchases. I only have one set. So I also got some additional samples of the Violume just from, in the counter. That's not part of the free gift as well. So what I actually bought from SUQQU, I bought the Multi Skin Protector 50. So this is their new SPF, and it's supposed to be, translucent. It's a mix of physical and chemical sunscreen. Really wanted to try this. So I picked this up, and then everything else that I picked up is related to this collection. So from this collection, I have the items that are on my face. I actually did test out everything already, and I have those clips for you that I will include in just a little bit. And on my face for like a base, I have the SUQQU the cream foundation in shade 110, and then I set that with the new powder from this collection in 102, which I already have a video on this because this powder was actually gifted to me by SUQQU. I purchased everything else. So they gifted this to me, and I got this, just a few days ago. So I actually posted this already. I'll leave that linked down below. So if you want to see like a close-up of how that works and everything, I'll have that in there. And again, this is first impressions, so I will revisit this collection. We'll go through everything then as well. But this is the powder, the Retouch Pressed Powder in 102, which is called Luster Glow. And you have a pressed powder, a highlight, and then, you can mix them. So just show you those here. So I set my face with this. I actually set it with the mix. And then I also used the SUQQU brow pen in 03 or Camel. This is a really awesome brow pen. So let me just show you that. So they have a bunch of shades there so those are things that I purchased. In addition, the only other thing that I don't show you during the little demo is the mascara, which was actually the Chanel Metal Terracotta that I am working on using up. Oh, and the blush. So the blush, for blush, I chose to use one of my favorite blushes of all time. This is the SUQQU Pure Color Blush in 04. And you can see it's a gradient or ombre blush. That's what I have on here. So let me just show you what these look like here. Okay, so you can see this is mixed together. This is the deeper end, the lighter end, and I have it just sort of mixed all over. So that's what I have on my face aside from the products in this collection. Now let's look at the products in this collection. So the collection is limited edition, and they released 2 lip glows, 2 lip fogs, 2 eyeshadow quads, and 2 of the nuance eyeliners, in addition to the Retouch pressed powder. So eyeshadow quads, we have this one here. This is number 104. And I have to say, when I saw the initial pictures of this, I was planning on skipping this because, it looked really warm. I have to say, when I put this thing on, wow, I really, really love it. And, this brown, it's a warm brown, but it has some coolness to it. This, you can see, is like kind of a rusty orange shade. And then you have this like camel beige shade, which actually when you apply that lightly, it creates just this lovely base that just kind of camouflages any discoloration or anything you might have on your lid. And you can see that the sparkle shade, which actually goes on more like scattered starlight. That's how I like to think of these shades. But you can see that this is going to be more of like a subtle golden champagne shade. So it looks really warm swatched, but it goes on pretty neutral. So overall, I think it's a beautiful, beautiful quad. And then this is what I have on my eyes right now. So this is the 105 quad, and it looks really cool in the pan. But again, you have this kind of like raspberry pink shade that kind of warms everything up. So the glitter here, the sparkle, looks blue in the palette. Let me show you that. So you can see how it looks blue here, but it really does not look blue at all on my arm. And actually it's got like some multicolor facets to it. So when you top it on something else, it kind of transforms a little bit. So you've got this cool tone, rich brown here that actually has a hint of purple. You have this like kind of warm raspberry shade, and sometimes when the light hits it, it looks cooler in tone, and sometimes it looks a little warmer in tone. I think that's just the way that the sheen, reflects the light. And then this shade here looks, again, it looks like a brown in the pan, when you just glance at it. Maybe that's because of what it's next to. But if you were to isolate that shade, it's actually more of a dusty mauve and maybe like a touch of brown in it, but you can see that it's really not. It's really not that brown. And then the sparkle shade here, you can see actually looks, it depends what you put it on. It can look more like silver starlight, or when you put it on top of the pink, it actually looks pink. Let me show you that in a swatch. All right, so I'm gonna put the pink one here, and then I have the sparkle here. Let me get a little bit more of that sparkle. All right, so when you put it on top, it doesn't really make anything, like the sparkle itself doesn't look blue or anything. And after it kind of sits for a minute, you can see that the reflection actually looks pink. All that sparkle you're getting appears pink. So it's cool. It's kind of like, you know, like a prism that you can look through. So you're getting some of that color that you see behind the prism, but you're getting a little bit of that rainbow multicolor effect from the sparkle as well. So I find that really interesting. And I didn't find this shade to do quite the same thing, but let me show you that in a swatch also. All right, so we're gonna go with this like rusty shade and then the glitter on top. So you can see that the glitter here still looks more of a subtle golden. It doesn't really transform as much as this one does. So there's something special about that glitter shade, in my opinion. And then in addition, we have the eyeliners and the lip products. So this one here is the eyeliner in number 102. It's a liquid liner. And I'll show you the live swatches of this during the demo. And then this here is the lip glow that I purchased. And you can see just looking through here that it kind of has a little bit of a pearly effect. It's very pretty. So this one is number 104. And then this shade here in the middle, this is the new limited edition gray in 103. And then this is the lip fog in 107 that I picked up. So here's 107. So this one and this one, this is just like a more sheer layer versus built up. So this is 107, the lip fog. This shade here is the 03 gray that's in the permanent line. It's just constantly sold out, but it is permanent. It'll be restocked. And this is another shade that I was swatching for comparison. It's the limited edition 103 lip fog, which is my favorite. So you can see that they are different. This one's a little bit more purpley. All right, so without further ado, let me go ahead and share these demos with you. And then again, this is first impressions. So if there are any swatch comparisons or anything like that that you would like to see, please let me know and I will be sure to include them in the full review. And then after the demo, I'll come back and give you my first impressions. All right, look at this. This is number 104. It's a lot prettier in person than it is in any of the online photos. You know, I feel like that's true in general about SUQQU quads. They always look better in person. There's something that just doesn't quite photograph quite as clearly. And well, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start with this kind of like camel beige shade. I'm going to use the SUQQU. This is the Crease Pro. And I don't have anything on my eyes. So there's that. You can see it's just a really great kind of neutral shade there that helps kind of cancel out any of the undertones. It'd be a great like base as well. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and use the same brush into the brown here. This brown looks so pretty. I'm gonna put this on the outer corner. We're just gonna do a simple look where we can see all of the shades and how they perform. And you can see how that kind of buffs out. You can see the sheen that you get from that. Wiping that off, I'm gonna go into this more like brick shade here. It's a little orangey, a little red. It's kind of like a rust shade. So that was just a tiny bit. Again, you can see that this has that satin sheen. I'm just gonna build that up a little bit more. You can see how nicely those transition to each other. All right, and I wiped this off. We're gonna go into the like sparkly shade, just a little light bit on the tip. I'm gonna dab that in the inner corner to see how much sparkle translates. And then I'm going to go ahead, I'm twirling my brush like this in here, and we're gonna just apply it very lightly over the lid to get kind of just a little bit of soft wash of that glitter. And then on the other eye, I'm going to put it on my finger and we're going to pile it on so you can see the difference. So it's definitely going to be a little bit more sparkly this way, but regardless, it's still going to be one of those glitters with like a sheer base. You know, it's really just a sparkle. You're not seeing any like pigment or anything from this product. Okay, I'm just going to even these out. And then for the lower lash line, I'm taking the SUQQU F07 into the brown, the lash shade. Just a little bit there, and let's try out one of the liners. So this is the SUQQU Nuance Liner in number 102. It's the reddish brown shade. And you can see when you put it on, it looks a little bit more like maroonish. You can see even this kind of looks like a rusty maroon shade. And then let's let it sit for a second. I'll show you what it looks like dry. While we're letting that dry, I'm gonna go ahead and line my eyes with this. So there's the liner on my eyes, wet. All right, so that's not the best wing there on my left eye, but this is what the liner looks like. And this is what it looks like now that it's dried. So you can see it looks a lot more brown. So I'm just gonna put a fresh swatch here. So you can kind of see there's a little bit of a difference here. It looks a little bit more brown once it's dry, and you can see a little bit more of the like maroon mauvey kind of shade while it's wet. So this is what this looks like. I'm gonna add some mascara and then we're gonna do the lip product. All right, so we are going to take a look at this lip glow. This is in number 104. And I can't wait to see what this looks like. We're gonna put this right here. So you can see it is gonna be like a reddish rusty shade. It's not overly warm or cool. You can see it's more warm, but the way the light hits it, whenever the light hits it, it kind of looks a little bit cooler, if that makes sense. So it's like the reflection is a little bit cooler in tone. So kind of cool. Let's see how this looks. There's just a very, very little bit of it. And you can like kind of clean that up, buff that out, and just get like a light hint of this shade, which is gorgeous. And then let's build it up. So this is it built up. You can see I have a dry patch on my lip that's kind of hitting the light a little funny. All right, so this is 104, and I'm gonna back you up so you can see everything from a distance. All right, so this is the look from a distance, and I love it. So, you know, we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna play with the other items that I picked up. So I'm gonna take this off and I will be right back. All right, so I washed off the lips and the eye makeup. I think a little bit of my base might have come off as well, but let's go ahead and keep playing. So we're gonna take a look at the 105 eyeshadow palette. So this is 105. It looks really, really pretty. I cannot wait to play with these. And these two shades here actually remind me a lot of the 104, just a little cooler. So if we look at those, yeah, you know, similar tones, essentially, not like undertones or anything, but I mean like the similar amount of like depth, and it's really just like this is a cooler version versus a warmer version in my opinion. So to see, I mean, let's try it out. We're gonna start off with the Sonia G. This is the classic crease, and we're gonna go into this second shade here. All All right, so I can already tell picking this up on the brush that although it looks more brown in the pan, there's a little like mauviness to it. I'm gonna add a little bit more of that. You see there's like a hint of like a purpley red shade in there. You can kind of see it a little bit more on the brush. I actually, you know, that really just adds like a shadowy effect. The other one acted, you know, in the 104 palette, it was more of a like neutral shade that acted as a really nice like base, almost blending with my skin. Whereas this really acts more as a little bit of a purpley shadow in a way. So we're going to go into this shade here at the bottom. We're going to do the same general eye look just with this palette and see how this one looks. Okay, I like this shade. Let's build it up a little bit more. So with these shadows, you can, you know, sheer them out so you get just a hint of color, or you can build them up and get them a lot more vibrant. You know, we're actually going to take the Synergy Soft Shader, and I want to see how, if I use something a little bit, you know, less fluffy, how that looks. Okay, so you can, that would be a lighter application. And look at this, every time I apply it, do you see that purple coming through? That's just, I thought maybe I was just imagining it, but yeah, because like in the pan, it really looks like a lot more like cocoa. Right, and let's go into this shade here. It's, you know, when you look at it in certain lights, it's more of like a cooler tone raspberry pink. And then at other times, it looks a little bit warmer. So let's see how it looks on the eyes. So that would be a sheer application. You can see how this like kind of applies so that you can get a really sheer look that kind of, it doesn't look like it's powder, more like just straight up pigment. So these transition super nicely on the eyes. You know, this pinker shade, it's definitely warmer in tone than the other shades here in the palette, but I think it's not too warm. You know, it still looks good, it works, but for people who, you know, wanted a little extra warmth, because I really like the cool tones, but this is one that works well with these, and I like how they transition here. So I'm going to take the F07 and I'm going to go into this shade here, which looks blue in the pan, but when I did my consultation, they told me it's not blue. So let's see how it looks. So it performs the same way as the other one, kind of that scattered starlight kind of look. And yeah, I mean, it doesn't look blue on the eye. I mean, even the sparkle itself looks more silver than blue. Maybe like more of a blue tone silver, but it doesn't translate to blue. Actually, where it goes over like the pink shade and everything, it actually kind of transforms. It's more like, I mean, look at that. Doesn't that look more like pink sparkle now? It's interesting. I'm going to take the Chikuhodo F07 into this shade here for the lower lash line. So I'd have to say that overall, even though this palette appears very cool in tone, it's not as cool as I expected it to be. I think this look in particular that I created so far is actually a bit warm, and that's because of this raspberry shade. If I focus more on these three, I'd have a cooler look. And I think that's one of the great things about this palette is that you have those options. There's that flexibility. And let's go ahead and try the liner. All right, so this is the SUQQU Nuance Liner in 103. You can see that it looks gray. I'm going to put the 03 on. So this one here is 03, which is part of the regular line. It's like always sold out. And then you can see that the color on the label here is a little bit more purple for the 103. And look at that while it's drying. And then this is a 03, which is really like a true neutral gray. You can see that you've got purple tones in the other. It's like, you know, when you look at wall paint, gray wall paint in particular, it always looks either blue or purple or like a little something. It's hard to get like exactly true gray. The 03 is like a true gray. Well, maybe there's like the slightest touch of brown if you shear it out. And then this is going to be one of those grays that leans purple. All right, so I'm just going to apply this. All right, so just so you can see the difference between wet versus dry, like we did with the other one, you can see that it's gonna dry to be a little bit more neutral, but still the way the light hits it, you get kind of that like dusty purple, dusty violet kind of shade. So this is my eye look up close, and let's add the lips. All right, so this is number 107. This is one of the lip fogs, and we'll just put this one right here. I'll just share it out a little bit more. So this one has more of this mauvey purple shade. And let me just compare this with another one real quickly. So before I actually picked up 107, my favorite has been the 103, which was limited edition. It's another mauve tone one. I just wanted to see how they compare. They're both lip fogs. Yeah, so you can see that the 103 is going to be more of this like dusty mauve kind of shade, whereas there's more red in the 107. All right, so let's start with a light layer. Okay, so this is a lighter layer. Obviously you can kind of clean that up and get a cleaner look from that, but this would be if you just apply a little bit of product, and then let's build it up. So this is the 107. So this is the final look from a distance. I'll see you in a second. Okay, so just a couple of lip comparisons I want to check out. You know, these are just ones that kind of popped in my head. But again, if you have any requests, please let me know and I'll be sure to include them in the full review. This is the Lip Glow in 101, which again, with SUQQU, if you have numbers that are like 01, 02, you know, anything like in the tens and so forth, those are permanent, and anything in the hundreds, those are going to be limited edition. So I'm gonna put this one right here in the middle. So for those of you who got 101, you can see it's kind of actually a good mix of the two of them. So it's not quite as, it's got a little bit more purple than the new shade here. Another thing you can see is that this shade, the new Lip Glow in 104, has a little bit of shimmer, or like, it's not really metallic. I'm gonna add another swatch of that next to it so you can kind of see. So this is the new one in 104, but you can see that it's got some shimmer, whereas the 101 is gonna be like an opaque cream. So there's no shimmer at all. The other one I wanted to compare, this is 02 in the Lip Glow also, and this one is permanent. So we're gonna put this one right here. All right, yeah, it's definitely more of a warmer pinkish red kind of shade. So not quite what I was thinking. So my first impressions of this collection, I really love this collection. I mean, I love SUQQU products in general because they always perform well. One of the things that I've noticed about SUQQU, particularly their eyeshadow palettes, they are much more underwhelming in photographs than they are in person. In person, there's always just something special about them, some sort of special quality that brings them to life, and then they just look so much more unique. So I have to say, these two quads, you know, I really didn't think I would like this one as much. I love it. I actually think between the two, I like this one, or at least out of the looks I've done so far, I like this one first. I preferred my first look over my second look today. So another thing I'd like to know about this one down here, the, what is this one, number 105? Yeah, the 105. So you do have cooler tone shades here, 1, 2, 3, but this one here, this reddish, like raspberry, this is much more warm in tone. So if you incorporate this into a look, you're going to get something warmer on the eyes like I did. And it's one of those warmer raspberry pinks that does work on a ton of different complexions. So, but I do have to say, if you use it, it just gives a warmer look overall than what you might expect just looking at the quad in the first place. I love it. I love both of them. And I have to say that I thought I would have some, maybe some comparisons from some of the other palettes that I've already picked up from SUQQU, but I can't think of any that actually quite look like that. So if you have any comparisons you'd like to see, please let me know. But this one here reminds me of, like the 70s interior decorating with those rusty tones and the browns and so forth. Kind of reminds me of that, but on the eyes, it's really definitely much more modern. And again, you can go soft with these, or you can build them up and go a lot more dramatic. So I personally like these soft. And then these ones here, I can't wait to play with this and see, how cool it looks without the pink as well, and just kind of play around with it. I think the sparkle shade in there is really unique. So both of the palettes for me so far are wins. The eyeliners, I have mentioned this before, but these are one of my favorite eyeliners. I absolutely love them. They're my favorite felt tip liner. I'm also now really enthralled with the Yuzi, the Flow Fuchsia liners, which are a brush tip. Those are my two favorite. I'm not good at using liquid eyeliner and doing wings and things like that. These two make it easy. So both of these liners were a definite must for me to pick up. I absolutely love them. The lip glow and the lip fog, I love these formulas. They are similar to a lip lock that you may have tried from a different brand like Yves Saint Laurent or the Chanel Rouge Allure Locks. But I think the formula of these is better. So they are not something, that's like mask proof or anything. There is transfer, but the pigment will remain on your lips throughout the day. So they are still long wearing color per se. I think the fog formula lasts longer than the glow for me for most shades. There are always like 1 or 2 shades that kind of just last and last and last. But overall, I find them all to be really comfortable. The fog formula, which is technically matte, like I have on my lips right now, it remains comfortable. So it's like a flexible vinyl, doesn't feel drying at all. They're really nice. And the glow, obviously has more of that glossy finish to it. And it comes in, different finishes. Like today we saw the more shimmery version versus here's the 101, which is more of just a shiny cream. I personally really love this shimmery finish. Between the two lip products that I picked up today, I would have to say that the lip glow is my favorite. So the 104 lip glow, if I could only get one of the lip products I picked up, this is the one I would pick. I really love that. I love the shimmer on it. It's gorgeous. I also really like this one here. I think I'll probably wear it for the summer. I'll probably wear it more like subdued, kind of buff it out a little bit. And then I think for the fall, this will transition beautifully. So I think it's a great shade. I really like both of them. And yeah, very happy with these. And one of the other things I wanted to mention about these products, and you may have noticed when I actually apply this, look at the flex in the wand. It's flexible. It doesn't feel like it's gonna snap off. It's really easy to use. I love the actual applicator on these products, and it's one of the things that makes it a little bit more enjoyable to use when you have good packaging that works and performs beautifully. So yeah, I love these. And the Retouch pressed powder, I have another video showing you this during application and everything. If you're interested, I'll leave that down below. This one was gifted to me, but I had every intention of purchasing it prior to that. So I really do like this one. You know, it leaves like a subtle golden glow to your skin. So it's not like it's coating your skin in like a gold highlight or anything like that. It looks more like you've got like the golden sun rays bouncing or reflecting off your face. It looks more like a glow from within type thing. I think it's really pretty. This powder itself though does come in other shades in the permanent line. So there's a porcelain shade, which I'm interested in checking out as well. So there are permanent shades if you're interested in the powder, but this color is not what you're going for. Personally, I think it's fairly translucent. So it's going to work for the majority of skin tones. I'm not sure how well it's going to translate to deeper skin tones, but on my fair skin, it works. So I really like it. I think it performs well, and it's incredibly finely milled to the point where it actually feels creamy when you touch it. And you know, it gives a little bit of a blurring effect. It's like a soft golden blurring effect. So I really like it. And again, thank you so much to SUQQU for sending me this. Overall, again, this summer 2021 collection is just phenomenal. I have been so happy with all of the releases they've been coming out with recently. I'm actually hoping that they add products like this to their permanent line. You know, a lot of the eyeshadow palettes that they've come out with, because they were just recently reformulated at the beginning of the year. They have released 6 permanent shadows. Those are all pretty neutral color stories, and then these collections have been having these beautiful pops of color, and I'd love to see some of them incorporated into the permanent line as well. They're gorgeous, wonderful textures, so very eager to see more from SUQQU. And I hope this was helpful. Again, the launch is May 20th, so I hope these swatches can kind of help you make a decision. Again, this here is a 04 blush, which is permanent. This is the Retouch Pressed Powder in 102 Luster Glow. This is the palette in 104. And down here we have 105. And again, this is just this pink shade with the topper on top. You can see how that sparkle works. And yeah, so we've got the 103 and the 102 eyeliner. This is the brow pen in 03 Camel. And then we have the lip products. So for the lip products, these two here are the Lip Fog in 107, which is on my lips. And then over here we have the Lip Glow in 104. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this, please give me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. I'll see you very soon. Have a great day and stay safe and healthy.